Sat gitsin. Sat sat sat sat.
Sat sat sat sat sat.
Sat sat sat. Bir satmışım. Üf üf üf.
I've seen more of this war than you can imagine.
Yani bu Coastland hanedanlığının eski atalarından biri. Dediği Lord. Şimdi birçok cevap verebiliyoruz. Aha. Garabetler genellikle dehşet verici çıldırmış varlıklar değil midir? Aynen lan.
How often is this usually? Always? If not always, then when is it not true? There are more things in this world and the next than you or I could ever hope to understand. What Flemeth became is a mystery. I suspect even to her.
İlginç. Yani Flemeth aslında Flemeth bir insan olmayabilir. Ama ele geçirilmiş bir iblis olabilir. İlginç. Bu ele geçirilmiş iblislere garabet deniyordu çünkü. Flemeth nasıl bu kadar uzun süre
The
hayatta
demon
kaldı?
within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her.
Birçok kız
You
olduğundan
ask if I have
bahsediliyor.
sisters. I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one. And these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed. So, should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too.
Ne oldu lan kızlarına peki? Yaşlıktan mı öldüler? Çünkü Flemeth normal bir insandan çok çok daha uzun yaşamış. Belki de yüzyıllardır yaşıyor yani.
The Chastened tell of a falling out between Flemeth and her daughters. They say that one day
Oha.
she hunted them all through the wilds and ate their hearts. It may be true. I have never seen another witch or heard of one. Perhaps one day Flemeth will eat my heart as well. I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has coloured her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all.
Eyvallah.
Flemeth tells it
Hikaye
with
için sağ
far
ol.
more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
Benim annem hakkında. İlginç. Sor bakalım.
Ah, then you have my sympathies for what it is worth. Which
Eyvallah.
is very little, I am certain. It matters not. Let us move on. What do you wish of me? If you must.
Bu işine kadar koçer
Why do you
olmadığını
ask me
bildim.
such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
Beni istediğin zaman
Beg
irdeleyebilirsin.
pardon then while I jump for joy. What is it you asked if I grew up in the wilds? A curious question.
aksi
Where
bu da ya?
else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
Gitmiş yani ormanın dışına. Bunu hayal etmek için kendimi bayağı zorlamam gerek. Fark edilmedim
For the
mi?
most part, Flemeth taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
İncindin mi? Fazlasıyla cüretkar. İşte bu sensin.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I
İltifat
accused
edelim
of
biraz.
being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be travelling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
Hızlı düşünmüşsün.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
Nasıl bir soru lan bu? Bütün terbiyesiz elleşmeler keyfini mi kaçırıyordu?
At least with that sort of touching, I would have been able to intuit the intent with far greater ease. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes, how to eat at a table, how to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Morgan'ın hayat hikayesi cidden ilginçmiş yani. Normal bir insana göre. Tabii ki. Ama yine de burası.
Yes, here I am. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
Tamam Morgan. Sakin ol.
Yes?
Ormandaki hayat epey yalnız olsa gerek.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
Çok keyifli bir hayat gibi gözüküyor lan aslında. Düşünsene. Tamamen doğadasın. Hayatta kalmakla ilgili her şeyi öğrenmişsin. Bilmiyorum, bana çok çekici geliyor. Onları seninle konuşurum
Don't be
biraz.
foolish. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and
Takılara
beauty
düşkünlüğü
must
var
be.
Morgan'ın.
I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the
Bayağı
carriage.
hem de. Baksana
It was
şuna.
encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
Flemet pek memnun kalmamış olmalı.
She was not. Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
Sadece çocuktum.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today.
Pek
as
öyle
difficult as
düşünmüyorum
they
be
might have
Morgan.
been.
Her şey onlardan ibaret olamaz yani. Bu dersler bir çocuk için fazla var.
Perhaps, but they were necessary still. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
Eyvallah.
Yes? If you must.
Muhabbet seni içeri geçirdim diyelim.
You are very cute to ask so many
Sağ olasın
questions.
Morgancığım. Flörtleşelim biraz. Sen de kaçamak cevap verdiğinde çok sevimli oluyorsun.
Really? Perhaps we should be wrapped in ribbons and adorned with flowers. So cute are we too. My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they
Yine
generally
Alistair'ı
were.
geçirdi.
Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
Hayda. Tapınakçıları parmağında oynatıyordu herhalde büyük ihtimalle.
I am unsure. I was too young to understand, and perhaps 'twas bravado on Flemeth's part, or perhaps she was merely amused. I will never know. Flemeth would warn them once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began.
Uyarıyormuş
Often
Flemeth
Flemeth
ilk
would
önce.
use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Yem olarak kullanıp tapınakçıları öldürüyor. Tabii şimdi burada ahlaki yönden bakınca öldürmesi belki biraz şey olarak görünüyor ama sonuçta bu anne ve kızın yaşam alanına girip onları kaçırmaya gelen tapınakçılardan bahsediyoruz burada. Annesi doğal olarak kendisini ve çocuğunu koruyor. Ne pahasına olursa olsun. Çoğu kişi takip etmiş olmalı mutlaka.
Sometimes, eventually. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
Hak ettiklerini buldular.
Perhaps
Yani
they
herhalde
did.
denebilir.
Still, I do not begrudge them doing what they believe is necessary. The Chantry sees any mages not leashed to the Circle of Magi as apostates, and apostates could become maleficarum, evil mages that resort to blood magic and become demon-enslaved abominations. It may even be true, still, those of us who prefer freedom see no reason to submit.
Tamamıyla katılıyorum.
Oh, I hope you are not simply being agreeable. It would be a refreshing change. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
Morgan bana büyü çeşidi öğretti. Aramız iyi diye.
Yes?
Sağ ol Morgancığım.
So, full of questions, are you? I assume you were actually asking truly. I do not know. It is not inconceivable that she could capture a chastened man, or perhaps change to a more attractive form to attract him willingly. I find it more difficult to imagine her with child.
Garabetlik tekrar
Who
edebilir.
knows for certain? Flemeth is unique in her fashion, providing that the tales of her legend are as she claims. And she claims little. I do know the tales of Flemeth having many daughters, even though I have never met another. And Flemeth has always treated me as her blood.
Öz evladı sanırım Morgan gerçekten ya Flemeth'in. Onun da şüpheleri var ama.
What
Seviyor
an
musun
odd thing to
gerçekten?
say. Why must love enter into the equation? Flemeth taught me everything I needed to learn. How to survive, the meaning of power, the truth of men. If other mothers do not teach these things, then I believe them the lesser.
Şimdi Morgan'la göre şöyle bir psikolojik problemi var. Yani kız hiçbir zaman güçten ve hayatta kalmaktan başka bir şey görmemiş. Dolayısıyla sevginin nasıl bir şey olduğunu bilmiyor. Yani sadece bunu aşk, sevgili yani aşktan bahsetmiyorum. İnsana olan sevgiden, canlıya olan sevgiden bahsediyorum. Bu tür şeyleri görmemiş. Böyle büyük bir problemi var.
Room for coddling and weakness? Why should such things be desirable? Take yourself. You do not honestly desire such things from me, do you? 'Tis better to be free of such cloying and cluttering delusions as love.
Niye canım? Peki ya istediğim şeyi
Then
bilsem?
more the fool you, I think. I tire of this discussion. Let us move on, shall we? Yes? If you must. I was not born such.
Nasıl biçim
'Tis a
değiştiren oldum
skill of
dedik.
Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Hmm. Sadece bir efsane değil mi? Anne bunu uzun zamandır yapıyor o zaman.
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Diğer insan şekillerine de
The
dönüşebilir
form
misin?
of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
İstese yapabilir ama galiba. Bir biçim değiştiren olarak. Herkes biçim değiştirme
Anyone
olabilir
with
mi?
sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
Evet, büyücü değiliz çünkü. Bu büyücülük TEDAS evreninde yani Dragon Age evreninde doğuştan gelen bir şey. Doğuştan sende yoksa ömrün boyunca olmuyor. Daha önce hiç böyle bir
No?
duymadım.
'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
Hmm. Tarz
I
gelenekler
am
muhafaza
surprised you
edilmeli.
think so. Still, 'tis a pleasant thing to hear.
Hayvansal olarak çok
There
vakit,
were
hayvan olarak
nights
çok
when
vakit
the
geçirir misin?
wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
Evet. Senin hakkında ne
They
konuşuyorsun?
do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
İlginç, cidden ilginç.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch? Oh, you're simply full of surprises, little man, aren't you? But enough of such talk. Let us
biraz.
proceed, lest the dust gather on us. Yes? So, full of questions, are you?
Ne sandın yarram?
Possibly, if I had the desire to. I do not.
Niye? Peki neden istemiyorsun?
I was told to accompany you and to help you, and that I shall. This may extend to the teaching of my mother's skills in time. For now,
Ha.
I simply
Abi
do
beni
not know
tanımadığı
you
için.
well enough. I promise nothing.
Peki, peki.
Yes?
Kişisel bir şey
We are hardly
konuşacağız.
alone, so privacy is not an option. It is your question, however. Ask what you will.
Öp onu.
What's this? 'Tis a rather odd discussion you seem to desire, leaning in so closely.
İtiraz mı ediyorsun?
Not unless you stop.
Oo güzel. Morgan'la romansı başlatmış olduk şu anda. Yavaş yavaş tavlıyoruz hatunu.
Yes? We are hardly alone, so privacy is not an option. It is your question, however. Ask what you will.
Hadi bir kere daha
And
öpelim.
you wish to do this in front of an audience, do you?
Oh, super. Excuse me while I begin projectile vomiting.
What is that, Alistair? We were not listening. Yes? We are hardly alone, so privacy is not an option. It is your question, however. Ask what you will.
Bir kere daha öpelim.
And you wish to do this in front of an...
Oh, s-
Yes? We are hardly alone, so privacy is not an option.
Senin iyi tarafını
It is your
geçirmem için
question.
ne yapmam lazım?
You are already on my good side, such as it is. Or do you seek something else? Something more intimate?
Vallahi daha samimi bir şeye hayır demem.
Oh, good to know that. Let me see. I would expect favor to come with a price. Perhaps you would be willing to pay a compliment. Is that too much? Hmm?
Bir de naz yapıyor.
I suppose
Yapalım.
stating the obvious will have to do. Very well, then. You are on my good side. Best watch your step that you don't fall off. Yes? We are hardly alone, so privacy is not an option. It is your question, however. Ask what you will. And you wish to do...
Hemen yapalım. Romansı ilerletebiliyor muyuz diye bakıyorum da. Sanırım şimdilik sadece bu kadar.
Yes?
Bir şey sormak istiyorum.
So, full of questions, are you? Possibly, if I had the
Hala
desire
istemiyor.
to.
Tamam, hemen devam edelim.
Move on if you can. Lothering's lost.
Köyün hemen dışındaki haydutları biliyor musun?
Thieves prey on the unfortunate whenever they get the chance. We've had refugees streaming from the south for the last 2 days. The Chantry and
Bu bir
Tavern
tapınakçı bu
are
arada.
bursting. There simply isn't enough food to
Tapınakçı
go
şövalyesi.
around, and we Templars can barely keep order. You'd be better off elsewhere, my friend.
Bir iki soru
I'm
sorabilir
just out
miyim?
here to keep an eye out for Darkspawn. Please ask someone in town. No offense.
Kim
Beğen
yönetiyor
has
burayı?
marched north with Tern Loghain, so Lothering's on its own. Most folks look to Elder Miriam. Otherwise, you could speak to Sir Bryant in the Chantry, I suppose. It's up to you.
Eyvallah. Aa, çocuklar falan var. Bunları soymuşlar burada. Bir tane hediye bulduk. Ne sikimmiş bu? Ha, burada şunu... Kodeksen mi okumamız gerekiyor şövalye modelini? Hediyeye nereden bakıyoruz ya? Ha. Tamam. Şu kodeksi bir notlar. Quest related. Cartürt. Yaratık, büyüdün, karakter, cartürt. Tamam, geç bunları. Şunlarla bir konuşalım.
I'm scared.
Greetings to you, good sir. If it isn't
Elf
too much
ailesi.
to ask, might you spare some bread or anything?
Ne oldu sana?
We thought it would be safer in Lothering, that the Terran would bring his soldiers here. But bandits attacked us and took everything. Our food, our clothes, my daughter's pet lamb. Nobody cares about a few elves.
Oğlan.
Can you help us?
O haydutlar için ya karşılaştım, artık öldüler.
Killed them?
That's wonderful news. Perhaps our belongings are still there.
I can't thank you enough
Aynen,
for it.
olabilir.
Even if we don't get everything back, it's good to know others will be safe.
Ne demek? Görevimiz.
It is begun.
Şimdi şu gördüğünüz kaybolmuş çocukla ilgili size bilgi vereceğim.
Have you seen my mother? Some mean men with swords came, and Mother told me to run to the village as fast as I could, so I did. She said she'd be right behind me, but I've been waiting and waiting, and I can't see her. Mother said I wasn't to go with anyone. I'm supposed to wait for her here, in the village. Oh,
Ağzım şu.
Silver! Wow, thank you. You're a really nice man, kind of like Father. I should go look for Mother now.
İşte bu gördüğünüz çocuk şeymiş.
Very well.
Pardon lan, bu başka çocuktu. Karıştırdım onu. Çok pardon. Alakası yok. Hani bu şey, oyunun başlarında daha Coastland Kalesi'ndeyken
Back off.
ne
I
oluyor
have
lan?
the right to charge what I wish.
You profit from their misfortune. I should have the Templars give away everything in your carts.
You wouldn't dare. Any of you step too close to my goods and I'll...
It's so nice to see everyone working together in a crisis. Warms the heart.
Oh, you there. You look able. Would you care to make a tiny profit helping a beleaguered businessman?
Ha neyse hatırlarsınız oyunun başlarında Coastland Kalesi'ndeyken Ayana diye bir hatun yatağa atmıştık. O çocuğun annesi, o kadının çocuğuyla ilgili bir bilgi verecektim de o biraz daha oyunun ileri safhalarında. Orada evet, o kadının çocuğu var. Tabii bizden değil. Vurgunculuğun birilerinin sinirine mi dokunuyor?
You could say that, yes.
The nerve of these people!
He is charging outlandish prices for things people desperately need. Their blood is filling his pockets.
'Tis only survival of the fittest. All of these cretins would do the same in his shoes, given the chance.
Belli olmaz o
I
moruk.
have limited supplies. The people decide what those supplies are worth to them.
You bought most of your wares from these very people last week. Now they flee for their lives, and you want to talk business?
Look, stranger, I've 100 silvers if you drive this rabble off, starting with that priest. I'm an honest merchant, nothing more.
Vicdansızlık yaptığını
Would it
düşünmüyor
help
musun?
these folks if they could buy no goods at all?
They spend their very last coin because they are desperate, and this man preys upon them as surely as the bandits outside the city.
I'm not arguing anymore. Drive off this woman and get your 100 silvers. Otherwise, I'm taking my wagon and leaving.
Tabii burada yine bir ahlak seçimi daha var. Bir yandan uzlaşmayı, bir yandan kazanç elde edebilirsin. Fiyatlarını indir yoksa mallarını kaybedersin. Gözdağı da verebiliyoruz, ikna da edebiliyoruz. İki türlü de gücümüz yetiyor. Bu herifin neyi hak ettiği söz konusu şimdi. Düşününce adamın mallarını satma hakkı var. Ama insani, vicdani yandan düşününce bir savaş var ve onun yakınları da böyle bir duruma düşebilirdi. Ama yine de yani tüm malları bedavaya vermek zorunda değil. Sonuçta bir ticaret adamı yani. Zor bir karar tabii. Birazcık düşünmek gerekiyor. Yanlış bir seçim yapmamak için. Fiyatı indir yoksa mallarını kaybedersin. Ya da ikna. İkna edelim ya.
Perhaps. If that woman agrees I'm allowed to charge something.
Do what you must, so long as the prices do not beggar the needy.
Fine, fine, done. And since you don't look too needy, normal prices for you.
So, we have come to solve every squabble in the village personally. My, but the Darkspawn will be impressed.
Thank you for your generous assistance. May the Maker watch over your path.
Altın kutsadı bizi ya. Morgan Disciples insanlara yardım ediyoruz kadın. Disciples diyor.
Don't suppose you're looking to buy something? All right. Just don't buy everything up.
Her şey seçsin. İyiymiş bu ya. Nifer bulduk. Wine mı? Alalım. Video olarak verebiliyormuşuz. Şunu satmamız lazım yalnız. Şunlardan birini. Şunu satalım. Şunu da sat gitsin aga. Zırhlardan şunu sat. Artı Şunu da sat. Ondan sonracığıma şu küçük kalkanı da sat gitsin ya. Hatta bunu da sat. Bir altınımız olmuş oldu. Bunlar kalsın. Geç bunların da neyse kalsın ya. Bundan satabileceğimiz neler var? Burada böyle şeyler var. Şimdi alabileceğimiz itemlere bakalım. Adam gibi bir kılıç. Şu andaki kılıcım bundan çok daha iyi. O yüzden siktir et. Şu balta aynen bu da siktir et. Alistair için miğfer alabiliyoruz. Buradaki itemleri şöyle bir göz gezdiriyorum da. Bunlardan zaten bizde var ya, onlara hiç gerek yok aslında. Buradan alabileceğimiz en iyi şey miğfer olur. Şu kaç şey veriyordu? 8.40. Alistair'ın kılıcı 7.70. Neyse birazcık şey yapalım da para mara kasalım. Yan görevleri yapıp. Şunları alalım. Mesela aldığım baltayı satayım şuna.
Don't suppose you're looking to buy. All right.
Al hocam. Kaç paramız oldu? 1 altın, 33 gümüş, 12 de bakırımız var. Kaydedelim.